Many international students have different ways in which they conserve and use water in their countries. Saras Bahi is a second-year graduate student majoring in urban planning. She is from Morocco in North Africa. She said where she lives, they have an abundant amount of water.
My hometown, my city is in the center north, so it is surrounded by mountains and the quality of water is actually very good over there. There are also many water springs around, many terms where people go and bath because of the healing virtues of the water and because it's minerally very rich, and many also companies of bottled water that are settling in the area because of all this really good quality water, very rich. The northern part of Morocco is more fertile and it got also more rain and more spring waters and things, but in the southern part is desertic, so people have really, so people also, because it's a desert, so there are not many settlements, human settlements there, and settlements when there are settlements, they are around oases, so people tend to usually naturally agglomerate around water sources. So water is abundant, not abundant, depending on where you are. Water is considered precious because it's sometimes difficult to find. So for that reason, I would say that the culture surrounding water is more taking it as a precious resource that we need to preserve. This is also, I think, there's also some religious influence concerning that, because it is, from a religion standpoint of view, it is considered almost sinful to be wasting resources. So water is then considered precious and shouldn't be wasted also from that standpoint of view. We have a prayer for 5 times, and before every prayer you have to be in a pure, clean state. So you have to do ablutions. Ablutions are done with water, so you have to basically wash your hands and wash your face and sort of rinse your feet as well. And you would use water in that. However, there is, for instance, clear statement that if water is not available, or if it is just difficult to get or too precious, to use for cleaning your body, you can use also just sand or whatever, just to, it's more of a ritual. So water, it's because it's pure, it's intrinsically pure, it's by its nature, it's a purifying and cleaning substance. So that's why it is used in these rituals, religious rituals. But if it is not available within our religion, it's clearly permitted and even advised to not use water in these cases. Also, when you are using water, you are also advised to not use the running water, but instead to have a sort of a bowl or something, and to put water in that bowl just within the quantity, just the quantity that you are going to use.
Naham Mahahi is a graduate assistant in the Department of Mathematical Science. He is from Bangladesh in South Asia. He said in different parts of his country, there is a lack of clean water.
Bangladesh has enormous resources of water, and the main resource is the surface water, during the monsoon, the rainy season. And after that, there is a scarcity of water towards the end of the dry season, But we got most of the water through, there is a treaty with India, it's named Ganges Water Sharing Treaty with India. And Bangladesh got almost like 35,000 cubic feet per second, as far as I remember, per second. So though this is not adequate for our country, so you can say it's not abundant at all. So we are sometimes running out of water, so we need to collect water and use them. The main problem is that, there are we got the water from that river named Ganges. So all the water come through that river, the big one, and all the other rivers got water from that river. When the water is not adequate, the rivers started dying, at a certain time of the year. So I mean, when the water is not adequate, all the rivers are got empty, and I mean people don't get water at that time. So what they do actually, they got water from the groundwater. You know, they collect the groundwater, purify it, and drink it, through a tube well. You know, tube well. Yeah, they use a tube well to collect the groundwater, and at the certain time, like in rainy season, they collect water, the surface water. You know, they collect it for their use. I mean, in urban areas like in big cities, what we do actually, we have like line supplied water, piped water, you know, water supplied through pipe. So what government usually do, I mean, they collect the groundwater, purify it through 2 or 3 levels, and then supply the water to the inhabitants, you know. But in rural areas, people use the water from ponds or from rivers or from tube well. Then they collect it, they boil the water and then drink. That's the scenario of the rural areas. But in urban areas, we already got the water that is supplied by the government, and then we like use the filters, water filters, and then drink it. That's it. But sometimes in the big cities, like in capital cities, even I had some experiences of running out of water, you know. So most of the inhabitants in the big cities, what they do actually, they collect the water. You never know when the water is running out, you know. So they need to collect the water in case of any emergencies. In the rural areas, the water, I mean the groundwater is totally like the groundwater is mixed with arsenic. You know, arsenic is like a water disease actually. So those people who are drinking water, groundwater, without proper purification, they're exposed to that. I mean that disease. It's like some kind of skin disease, you can say. I mean 93% water was like mixed with arsenic. So government took some steps, and now the level is going down. So people there is a certain time that people were so much exposed to arsenic, you know, but this thing is going down now.
Mohammed Sajid Bashir is a freshman majoring in business management. He is from Kabul in Afghanistan. He said in his country they strive toward conserving and purifying water.
Afghanistan is a country, it's surrounded by mountains, and especially in the area that I love, Kabul, people make the houses in the mountains, you know. So it's very hard for them to like carry clean water, so they have to go down the mountain and then carry water and then go up. For drinking water is a big problem, you know. We add calciums in our water, chlorine in the water, and lots of other things like tap water. I'm sure we can drink from it, but it's not the best thing to go for. I'm sure there's bacteria in it and any other things, and people use calciums and other kind of minerals to protect the water and make it clean. There's even commercials about the water, that people who are like in the cities and they have taps in their house and good water, the commercials are about like not to waste water, and then they have the pictures of these people showing that they take the water on top of the mountains. So we should not waste water. That's the message that they want to convey in those commercials. So I think that's a very positive commercial towards awareing people of how to use water. We had major problems with our electricity in our country. The time where there was no electricity and there was no water in the taps, so we had to like control the water because it was limited. But the time when there was electricity and stuff, I mean, I could take longer showers with hot water and stuff, because when there's no electricity, you can have no water, no heater, and no warm water, and no cold water, because the fridges are not going to work either. So I think electricity plays a big role on how we use the water and how much we use the water. The problem is that the people live, as I said before, on top of mountains, you know, mountains. I don't know if there's pipelines going throughout the mountains and they provide water facilities to every homes, but since those facilities are not available to them, I'm sure they struggle a lot. Even people buy water in my country, like the trucks of water goes and then it comes, and then people just bring all the bottles from their house and they fill it up. Or sometimes there's those kind of taps that we call, it's in the places, and then you kind of like push it and the water comes from underground. So people just bring their bottles and everything, fill them up, and then they take it home and save it, and then they use it for drinking water, cooking water, and showering and stuff.
Conserving water only takes a few steps. It is important to give back to other countries who are lacking in water. In Muncie, Benicia Brown, News 397.